All right, and welcome halfway around the world to tonight's race, Japan 200 at Twin Race Motegi. Twin Ring Motegi. Dang it! I had so long to get that straight. But hopefully these drivers will be able to get this straight. Dave and Zach join me in the booth. We should be in for one well of a show, guys.
I think so. You talk about keeping it straight here. This is definitely going to be a challenge for these guys. Two very different corners on each end of the racetrack, two very different
Yes.
approaches. Very flat track, which requires a lot of patience on the throttle, a lot of patience with getting your car through these corners, especially the bumps in turn two, as well as just how tight turns three and four are. It'll be very interesting to see how these guys handle it for 130 laps tonight.
I like to think of this as Darlington, but extremely exaggerated. They only raced here one time for real in the Cup Series on the Oval
That's
back
right.
in '98.
Yeah, it was an exhibition race at the end of the 1998 season. Mike Skinner won that race, and definitely uh, a very memorable event for fans old enough to remember something
Yeah.
happening in 1998, like myself. But I obviously hosted some IndyCar races and other events of that sort over the years as well. Um, Excited that we're going to see it tonight with the Elite Cup Series here on the virtual version tonight.
As Woo! Excuse me, tired. As you take a look at the championship standings, playoff racing, it's never too early, and now we actually only have two races before we begin.
Yep, two races before we get into the playoffs. We this race here at Motegi, and then next week 400 miles at Daytona. Definitely will be a dramatic one. We always know how the super speedway races are, and certainly next week will be no exception. So a lot of guys probably looking tonight as a good chance to get a little bit of breathing room going into Daytona next week.
Taking a look at tonight's starting lineup, we'll have Dave go through awarding R.C. Anderson the pole.
Second place will be starting second will be Tyler Fody, Ethan Burrell, then Ethan Stanley, Trey Holmes, Tate Lytle rounding out the top six. Ryan Gable is seventh, David Tooker eighth, Chad Frankenfield ninth, Matthew Weeks 10th, Braxton DeWeese 11th, Jonathan Cutlip 12th, Justin Wadsworth, Ryan Schuld, Scott Crump, Hunter Smith, Nick Delicato, Dylan Thomas, Brent Jones, and Chris Wright through the top 20. Justin Fortner, Justin Vandermarl, Jesse Racimus, Johnny Thomas, Michael Goodman, Jordan Owens, Richard Hines, Harrison Talon, Andrew Rucker, and Seth Rawls are the 30. Kyle Hanshaw, Michael Hussack, Robert Hill, Casey Hatch, Justin Doer, Jared Campbell in 36th. 37th, Rory Collins, Joshua Clark, Tynan Jones, Mark Rebelis, and Joshua Personette rounds out the field. And Mark Murphy is our race control tonight. That's the field, guys.
All right, getting set. Pace car now rolling. Uh, I think we'll have one lap of pacing here. So just one lap to get your bearings. We saw practice was I never know what to expect from practice because it looks like everybody is always wrecking.
Yeah, I don't know how much you kind of have to show up early for the practices here because a lot of times you get later into practice session and some guys start.
People don't care.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Oh, Dave, why don't you explain the coloring real quick on the
Okay,
side?
on our tower tonight, if they are white background with black letters, those are the drivers who are locked into the playoffs. And there are, I believe, 5 of them.
You said,
Maybe seven. I think.
I just thought you said
7.
seven.
So the top 7, and then the next 5 that are in light blue are the ones who would make up the next 12 that are in the top 12 right now, but not locked. And then the dark and the regular blue are just the rest of the field.
All right, you see the green flag in hand. R.C. Anderson gets them fired off into turn 1. Oh, Ethan Stanley not afraid to try and see what that high side has early on.
Sounds a little quiet, guys. I'm going to check where my car sounds are here. Hold on.
R.C. Anderson still up to a healthy lead, it seems. Title Footy now being pushed.
Caution.
Oh, caution. Someone has gone around in the back of the pack. So our first caution comes out here on lap number 2.
This one is going to be one of those ironic moments where we go to the Mark Rebelis replay machine to see Mark Rebelis. See what we got.
I don't know. I heard Johnny Thomas apologizing. We'll see what we've got here.
Oh.
Well, that's not great. Okay.
Don't see.
Yep, so somebody else is
already ahead of him.
That's Goodman on the inside.
44 of Goodman, and there's one more car. Is that Harrison Talon?
Jesse Racimus was in there. Harrison Talon was in there. So we're going to have to see what happened here. Oh,
Ooh.
well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird that all happened at the same time I had a glitch. So
right, that's something, unfortunately, we're not going to really be able to see what happened there because of... And this happens sometimes on iRacing, unfortunately, but we just don't have the information from the little 2-second or 3-second window there.
You heard over the radio from Zach, Johnny Thomas apologizing. It looks like the cause of the caution is a racing incident, so no tallies given. It looks like everyone will be able to get away.
Yeah, so what happened there, guys? And I know Dave glitched out, but what happened there was the 70 got kind of loose on the bottom. He got it saved, then everybody started running over each other behind him, which collected several other cars. It's nobody's fault. It's a racing incident. No further action.
Looking at the replay on my end, which obviously I can't share, but just from what I'm seeing, I totally get where Johnny's coming from with the apology, but he had no chance of missing the car in front of him getting loose. I feel he's probably being a little hard on himself, which honestly we totally expect at this point from Johnny Thomas. He's one of the classiest acts out here, so of course he feels bad about getting into the guy, but he really had no time to react.
All right, under caution here for the first time. We'll be back with the restart. You're watching ERN.
Isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, getting set for the restart here. RC Anderson and Tyler Foley on the front row. Pace car is off. They're in the Geico restart zone, and we are once again racing under the green flag. Oh, Stanley, man, he is not one to hold his breath on a restart there. He was forcing it under Tate Lytle.
It'll be interesting to see how these restarts play out, because this is such a wide racetrack. I feel like if we get spread out, we're going to be in for some longer green flag runs, so it's going to be interesting to see how much you try and get everything you can on a restart and how much of it is managing the car to have something for the rest of the green flag run. You can really see from that camera angle in particular how much those bumps, especially on cold tires, really affect the handling of the cars going through turn 2.
Is tire wear something we're gonna be talking about tonight?
I don't know that necessarily. I mean, we've seen so often in these races in the Cup Series with this next-gen car, tire wear isn't a massive issue. Where I think you're going to run into bigger issues is tire temperature, more specifically overheating the right front or the right rear, depending on how you're trying to drive the car on this flat track. And that can kind of...
car around.
Oh, trouble. Car in the wall, and our second caution comes out. Right as we were about to see it, let's take a look. We kind of glitched there. Oh, the 30 gets loose, it looks like, by himself.
So it looks like it says he is manually disconnected, so it looks like after he gets completely out of shape at this point, he bails completely from the service, and that's why we lose him and now you
Okay.
see the rest of the cars continue the wreck. But he is not in the server right now.
Oh,
Good contact for Dusty Tour.
Johnny Thomas involved in that one. The cause of the caution is a racing incident.
Guess we might as well show these from all the different angles we have because cautions are going to be so long.
Yeah. So what happened on that deal, guys, is pretty simple. The car that you see spinning at the front, the 30, I believe, he had it saved. I mean, he had not. It's not really a self spin because he didn't spin. He got out of the gas, got it straightened up. The guy behind him hit him. It's not anything that either one of them can do differently to
Yeah.
avoid that accident. So it goes as a racing incident, no further action. Feel bad for Dylan Thomas, as well as the 21 of Justin Vandermaal. Neither one did anything wrong. But it's kind of what it is. But racing incident, no further action from race control, and you feel bad for the two cars involved.
By my count, at least 5 cars involved. So RC Anderson quickly the leader as we go under caution here for the second time. We won't bore you. So we'll be back when they go back green. You're watching ERN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, we're only 1/10 of the scheduled race distance in. You see, Barry has the green flag back in his hand. R.C. Anderson gonna thunder off. We're back under green here at Twin Ring Multi. See, we can get some
three
green
wide.
flag laps under our belt.
That was the duality of man right there. Let's see if we can get some green flag laps. 3 wide.
Yeah. Now we're 4 wide.
How about 4? Let's try 4.
Ooh. David
Look at
Tucker
that walk.
on the outside, and we're 3 wide and racing high in turn 1.
I sense caution potential in this area.
Look, don't get me wrong. Motegi's a really wide racetrack. I know. Alex made the Darlington comparison because of the shape at the top. I think of it more as a gateway on steroids, or worldwide technology raceway on steroids. But because of how, I mean, it's got the flat, but it's still it's so much wider and faster. But I don't know if you necessarily want to be using all that racing room right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can comfortably, guys, just to chime in, you can comfortably run open wheel cars 3 wide through 1 and 2 here. We do that all the time. 4 wide's a bit of a stretch because there's not very much grip up near the wall, but you can absolutely run 3 open wheel cars wide open through 1 and 2, 3 wide. We do that all the time.
4 wide. Besides Talladega, doesn't sound negotiable anywhere. Oh, got a car loose in turn 4. Don't know who that was, but no caution flag, so I'm assuming they gathered it up. We take a look at Chris right in front, who is R.C. Anderson still the lead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, that was the 85 of Kynan Jones. You just got kind of what happened to Kynan is he, kind of talked about it at the open of the show. Bottom, especially when you come off of turn 2 or turn 4, the tunnels there's almost like a hole or a ditch right down there, and you can get super free. On the bottom, if you got too much wheel in it, you get back to the gas, it'll spin you right out. And that's what happened to Kynan Jones. He went down, touched the inside wall. He does continue on, no caution. But tough break there for Kynan, for sure.
You see, this is a battle just inside the top 5. Tyler Fody trying to keep his teammate at bay. Ethan Brill giving chase to R.C. Anderson, who is not locked in.
Yeah, again, if you're just tuning in, the color coding on the scoring tower, the guys with the white background and the black car number are locked into the playoffs. The lighter blue are guys who are in position right now, but not locked in. And of course, the drivers in blue trying to punch those tickets here with this race and one more before we get into the playoffs.
And if it comes to this race or Daytona, my bet is you want to be safe here because we've seen what can happen at Daytona. Anything is possible.
Definitely. You certainly feel a little more in control of your destiny at a place like Motegi, which is, for some guys a blessing and some guys a curse. For some, they know they can go to Daytona and they have a chance to win, and they might not have that most places here in the Elite Cup Series, but Daytona, you've got a shot. So it's a different mindset, and obviously different guys are going to be looking at this race differently based on that. But That's definitely the dynamic between this week and next week here as we wrap up the regular season.
Speaking of wrapping up the regular season, guys, the schedule was just released today for NASCAR. Darlington now holds the honor of wrapping up the regular season, not Daytona. I thought that was interesting.
It's definitely interesting. I'd be curious how much, if that's a permanent suggestion or something that was just kind of done in light of, obviously there's been so much conversation about next year with the 2-week break with the Olympics because of the television partner and NBC and their obligations on that front. But it'll be interesting to see how a season or a regular season finale at Darlington plays out versus what we've seen in past years.
You know, and to be fair, to chime in if I can,
you cannot chime in at all.
I tell you what, I like that, right? Like, I would rather have the season finale or the regular season finale, the playoff finale at a driver's track. You know what I mean? I would want it at a Darlington or a Phoenix or a Homestead or, somewhere where tire management and pit strategy and fuel strategy can all be employed, rather than have it at like Daytona or Talladega or Atlanta, which would just be a giant roll of the dice. I feel like if you're gonna have a playoff scenario, have it somewhere where the driver can make the most impact. Certainly, Darlington is the track where the driver makes the most impact, and the Southern 500 always falls around that time anyway. So,
yeah. Well, Atlanta though opens up the schedule of the playoffs, and that is now a mini Talladega in Daytona. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm fine with having plate races in the playoffs. Just don't want it to be the deciding race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with that new schedule, you have 2 super speedway races and 2 road courses for next season in the playoffs.
Yeah, Watkins Glen added. That will be interesting. I'm excited. The schedule needed a shake.
Contact!
Oh,
Ethan Stanley
trouble.
around.
Ethan Stanley and Chad Frankenfield go around. Can they all avoid the spinning 15? That was weird. I have a feeling a tally will be issued here, but I'm not sure on who. Let's take a look and see what happened here. They were running inside the top 10. Oh, I bet you Chad thinks he's gonna file in behind him.
I don't know where Ethan would have gone.
Yeah, the spotter ain't even gonna tell you clear. That wasn't really close.
That was weird. Yeah, he just wanted to get back in line, or?
Well, Chad entered the night on a 99 race losing streak here in the Elite Cup Series, dating back to the 2020B season finale. It's still early, but that's a setback for sure.
That was your trivia question, Alex.
Oh, really? How
many races it's been since Chad won in Cup?
Oh, I would not have gotten that.
99. 90 is his 100th start. Last win.
So we're going to get the graphic here shortly, but I just heard in the game chat from Mark Murphy, that is a tally on the 15.
Yeah. And rightfully so. I mean, Ethan was doing nothing but minding his own line there. Pit road's gonna be a busy place.
A lot of guys making their first pit stops here.
What is the fuel window here? Do we know?
So, based on what Mark and I were able to gather in practice, probably somewhere the fuel window's probably somewhere in the 60 to 65 lap range.
Okay.
One thing, obviously, it's gonna all be shaken up here with the green flag pit stops, but Gerald Campbell had driven his way up to 12th, I believe, before that caution, and he started, I want to say 36. I'll pull it up on my end to make sure I'm not completely off on that. Yes, 36. So it's been a pretty good night so far for Gerald in the 31.
All right, well, we'll be back with the restart here. Justin Vandermeer, the leader, currently under.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
All right, getting set for the restart here. 5 guys elected not to pit. The top 5 on your screen. First guy that did make a pit stop, Johnson Cutlip, in front of RC Anderson, who now finds himself in 7th position. Guys, what do you think we'll see on this restart?
Well, this is going to be our first chance to see how much those tires matter. Some of these guys, they've been on and off pit road with damage from the earlier incidents. Chris Wright and Robert Hill have not been to pit road at all so far tonight, so we're going to see how this plays out for them in front of these fresher tires behind them. Oh, somebody's way up the hill.
Way up the hill. Don't know who that was.
I think that was Cutlet.
Yep,
I didn't recognize him in that black and yellow car. Normally we see him in those red and white kind of Hendrick-inspired colors, but yeah, that was Cutlet that lost a lot of ground on that restart.
Yeah, he had restarted 6, and now we have another car behind up the hill. We'll have to regain that track position again.
Ethan Stanley just said on the voice chat he has a meatball, so something presumably happened between. I don't know how he would, what happened there, but that's not good at all.
Car
car
around.
around.
A couple of them. And our fourth caution of the night gonna happen on the back stretch. See what happened here. Contact 51 got involved somehow. Oh, loose off the corner, and 26 gets into him and Chad. Oh, bad luck continues.
So yeah, Justin Fortner's gonna get a piece of the wall there. I almost called him Harrison. Everybody's got a white and red car now. What's up with that?
So far the 51 and the 15 bad night to have a 5 and a 1 on your car. Both of those have been issued tallies here.
So looking back at what happened with Ethan, I mentioned he was reporting he has a meatball and he's coming to pit road. So on lap 31, going into turn 3, it's weird, but it's almost like the car just snapped on him under braking for turn 3, and it just turns hard right into the wall. And that's where he gets the damage that obviously gave him the meatball. So it had nothing to do with what we saw in 1 and 2. It was just kind of a separate incident on its own. Very strange to see, especially from a guy of Ethan's caliber, to see a car just get away from him like that under braking. It's very unusual.
This is in 1 and 2.
Yep, so this is the restart now. You're going to see him funnel down the backstretch, and as he's going to be braking for the corner here, you're going to see the car just turn right.
Yeah.
Typically when that happens, by the way, guys, that's a symptom of too much brake bias one way or the other. What happens is it'll overheat either the front tires or the rear tires, and then conversely, the other side of the braking system will get too cold. And so when you've got one side super hot, it'll hook, or you got one side super hot, one side cool, it'll kind of hook you up like that. Normally that's too much rear brake when it breaks loose like that. Normally, I don't want to speculate, but normally that's how you wind up in that kind of a.
Can it also just be a product of your virtual sim racing at home?
No, it's brake heat. He's got too much bias probably toward the back,
Okay.
Which a lot of guys will do that, especially at a place like this. You're really hard on the right front coming off of turn 4 in order to make speed. And so one of the ways that you try to save the right front is that you move the brake bias all the way back. Well, if you do that and you move the bias all the way back, you can sometimes induce you can sometimes unhook the rear wheels like that. It's almost like the rear brakes locked up on him there, and that would be why it just turns right. He went to the brakes, they were overheated, they hooked up and just turned it.
It does look like the top 4 again stayed out here. Justin Vandermarl, Robert Hill, Chris Wright, Jesse Racimas. RC Enerson is kind of now that first guy on tires.
Yeah. See Justin giving a playful tap to the pace car. Can you get damage if you hit the pace car?
So the pace car is actually, for lack of a better way to describe it, it's not a solid object. You can literally drive yourself into, and I do mean inside the pace car if you so choose. I don't recommend it because then that makes you harder to see. So then say you get a guy taking the lucky dog. If he doesn't see you, I mean, ideally you hope he doesn't decide to also play inside the pace car, but if 2 idiots decide to play inside the pace car at the same time, you will hit each other. So I don't recommend it, but you can't.
Who are the two people that haven't been to pit road at all?
That would be Robert Hill in the 2 car, lining up outside front row for this restart alongside his 21 Savage Autosport teammate Justin Vandermarl, as well as the 42 of Chris Wright lining up third inside of row 2.
All right. So already cleaning up our fourth caution. Been no shortage of action here tonight.
Yeah, I'd love to see us get a little bit longer green flag run here, but we'll see. Lined up for the restart.
Green flag about to be back out. Pace car is in. Justin Vandermeer gets them back going. He's on the loud pedal.
I think Alex fell down a well.
I'm sorry. Am I back now?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
big
they're not.
flash in turn 2. Andrew Rucker.
Oh, they're still wrecking.
That was a big hit.
All right, so let's see here. So it looks like it starts here with contact between the 88 and the 01 in the middle of the corner here. So now Ryan's sideways. The apron's not going to help.
There really is no bacon.
He's done a pretty good job to this point, but it's still out of shape, and now it's got. So now he's in front. Now they're gonna pile in.
Everybody's
the
trying to
11
get away. Yep.
and it's up the hill into the 54, the 6. Oh, that's a big hit right there.
Big hit, yeah.
Goodman involved, 44.
That'll be a tolling damage for sure, I believe. Couple of cars to the inside there. And I'm sorry, I said Andrew Rucker. I thought it was the 64 car. It turns out it was the 54.
Right. Yeah, Hunter Smith.
Oh, Harrison Towling gets a big piece of the wall. As well as, who was that?
Michael Hossack. Yep.
Let's ride on board the 54 car.
Okay.
If we can, please. His spin just looked interesting because he was almost in front. And there's trouble. Oh.
Yeah. And the worst part is from that perspective, you can tell he didn't even see the build up to it. That all happened kind of in a blind spot with the other cars or whatever. So until the puff of smoke right before Ryan spins up the track in front of him, he has no idea anything's wrong. The world's we're just having a nice little restart here. I'm ripping the top. Everything's great. Yeah. I love Motegi. Japan's fun. We should run here more often. Oh, there's smoke. That's not good. Don't love this. Let me go high. Give everybody a high. We got to dodge high. Got to get Braxton room high. Oh, no. And the sad thing is, like, it happens so much quicker than that, obviously, because we're watching in, like,
1/4 speed.
Right. But it's crazy in real time. That's how quickly you think when these things happen.
Yeah, let's watch that at speed. See, yeah, he might have had a little bit of an inclination that something was wrong. Oh, he got hit again. That stinks. There will be damage on that 54 car. Did we get a cause of the caution there?
Yeah, they called it on the 88.
Mm. Alrighty, well, we'll be back for the restart here. It's already the fifth caution. We're not even to lap 50. You're watching the Japan 200 live on ERN. Sorry, that seemed to be a quicker restart.
I didn't see anything in the chat, but we did spend a lot of time breaking down the replay too.
Oh, yeah. Chris Wright in front. We get through the turbo spot. Let's see if we can manage turn 3 and 4. Though the 6 set of tires they need to be saved for Daytona. Yep. You can see though as RC is already open up. Oh,
we're
all
wrecking.
around in turn 4. Caution is out.
Looks like Andrew Rucker was in that one.
Yes, he was. And Chad Frankenfield. Oh. When it's not your day, it is not your day.
Andrew sounds very confused on the race, so we'll see if he's confused by somebody else or by something his car did. Oh, so Braxton gets a little loose in front of him, and then it's just kind of a domino from there.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that on the 15.
No, definitely can't put down to 15. I don't think you can put down to 60. We'll see what Mark's call is. Nobody had a lot of time to react to anything there.
Third incident of the night for the 15 car.
because even like the 13 doesn't have a ton of time to react to his car getting loose. It's just, everybody's so bunched up on the restart racing incident. There you go. I feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do too, guys.
Well, I'm glad you do. If you didn't feel good about it, we'd really be in trouble.
It's again, guy in front of you gets a little loose. You got to, you want to back off and give him some time to save it. And again, 64 didn't have hardly any time to react. And Chad is a completely innocent bystander. So, I mean, you can't really call it on a 64. You can't really call it on a 13. The racing incident, no further action.
All right, well, I'm going to use this caution to take out my dog, guys. I will be right back.
Getting ready to go back green here at Twin Ring Motegi in the Join APS.com Cup Series Japan 200. I almost messed up. Dave.
What were you going to say? Twin Race Motegi?
No, I almost called this by the name of when a certain American open wheel series used to come here regularly.
Oh.
In which they it was also the Japan 300, but they put an extra word in the front that may or may not be a reference to the cars that were competing and or a city in the state of Indiana. So that would have been bad news for us if I had done that.
The Speedway car Japan 300?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Japan 200 now. Pace car is off. R.C. Anderson leading the field back to green to start lap 48 of 130. Hopefully we get some green flag running here. It's been a lot of cautions so far. I wasn't expecting us to challenge for more cautions tonight than we had last week in 500 laps at Bristol, but we're trending in that direction. Don't love that as we get back underway.
Race Control also does not like the number of cautions. I'd like to give a shout out. Up there to Ryan Scholl, peeking into 11th position, the number 4 car, doing amazing job. He's got that really good machine toward the front. Good on him. Some other guys kind of running up front that you don't normally see up there. Brent Jones, a solid run to 14. He lives at 13. You're seeing some guys now with some of the stuff that's going on, starting to sneak up to the front, and that's you like to see that. You like to see different guys.
Let's get up front here.
Get to the mix.
There was maybe not. There was a 2 or 3 wide situation there. I think around Braxton DeWeese, maybe. No, that's Matthew Weeks. Okay, yeah, this was getting really spicy for a second, so I definitely wanted to get our eyes on that as we're looking at Matthew Weeks on the inside, Tyler Fode on the outside. This is a battle for 4th. Jonathan Cutliff lurking behind them. Keeping an eye. Sorry to interrupt you there, Mark, but definitely saw some wild race. There's Gerald Campbell. We mentioned him earlier in the night, having a good run after starting 36. He's up to 8th and trying to challenge Scott Crump for that 7th spot as this side-by-side battle continues in front of him as well. So we got 5 or 6 cars kind of clumped together here as now Matthew Weeks will settle in behind Tyler Fode.
Different styles right there. So you got Gerald kind of charging that. You got really taking it easy, running a groove or 2 higher. Fairly obvious to me that Scott's trying to save his tires a little bit. Gerald Campbell not so much. Go fast early, go fast. You want to be fast early or you want to be fast late. We still are in a situation where in the field window we're going to have to make the green flag stop here. They cannot make the distance. So do you want to make that? Do you want to split it in 2? Do you want to try to go as long as possible? The lines that Scott Crump's running in, where the lanes are coming out of the pipes there, suggests to me that Scott Crump is.
I saw it on my screen. Chad Frankenfield hit a Chad ton. I think he may have had help, but he took a huge hit. I'm honestly surprised to see him driving away from it. We'll get a look on the replay here, the Mark Reblos replay machine. So he's to the inside of Robert Hill here. Oh, that's gonna be huge. So Robert Hill's in it.
Ooh.
Chad's in it. So, if we could, if you don't mind, Dave, could we get back stay on the onboard for Robert Hill? Because I'm curious. I can see this going 2 ways. So Chad goes underneath him, and I'm curious, does the car get up, does he kind of react, seeing the dive and try to give him room, and the car steps out? Right. See, you kind of see that twitch there. So it looks awful. It looks like he right hooks Chad, right? And ultimately, I still feel like even if it's by accident, I still feel like the onus of the accident falls on him. But I don't think he went in there with the intention of right hooking Chad and turning him head on into the wall. I think right here he sees Chad, maybe wasn't expecting him, and right when he makes this correction right here, as I'm literally turning the steering wheel in my hand, like y'all can see that's when the car gets upset and turns further left. Now, obviously, Chad's not going to see it that way. He's got to see a guy that, frankly, they have history, and they just came together and he got right hooked into the wall. Nobody's going to be happy about this one. While I was breaking that down, frame by frame, I don't know if we heard the call or saw the call. I'll be honest, I may have missed that. So Mark might be able to help us out on what his ruling was on that.
So the cause of the caution is the 2 into the 15. The 2 will receive a tally. I don't think I'm with you, Zach. I don't see anything intentional there. Obviously, Chad may feel otherwise. Robert Hill currently pleading his case on the radio to Mr. Frankenfield. Whether he got loose or not, I don't think it was intentional, but definitely the onus of the contact is on the 2. By the way, kudos to you, Zach, because you reviewed the exact same screens in almost the exact same order I did to reach the same conclusion. How about that?
So, pacing our 7th caution of the night. Still haven't quite made it halfway. That would be 10 laps from now, lap 65. RC Anderson leading the way. Again, I hate to say it, we're trending towards more cautions tonight than 500 laps at Bristol last week. I bragged on these guys so much last week, and starting to regret it, if I'm honest. But here we are. Unsurprisingly, tempers overflowing a bit in the voice chat. Again, I think I get why people will look at that and think there may have been some foul play on Robert Hill's part, but I think if you really look at what happened, I don't see it. I think you'd see a much more dramatic left-hand turn if he was and I'm also coming at this from the perspective I've been literally in Robert's position with racing in Osaka here at Motegi, where literally that same situation happened to me. I got together with Seth Rawls and ended up taking out, I believe it was Dave Carpenter. So I know it had the same thing happened on that one. So I'm kind of coming in with that perspective as well. But either way, definitely incident fault of the 2 as deemed by race control. 7th caution, getting ready to restart here on lap 57. I believe we have Alex back now.
Yeah. When I left, we were under caution, and I come back, we're under caution. So, did I miss something dramatic?
Oh, we had a big old knocked wall down in turn 1 with Robert Hill and Chad Frankenfield.
Oh. I'm sure that will be talked about in the driver chat, or it's already being done so.
Yeah, it was a little live for a little while. We're going back green here.
RC Anderson, who has been on the pole looking to try and lock himself into that playoff round, might get it done. Ethan Burrell, hot on his tracks. Pro Edge Racing Toyota Camrys lead 1, 2, and 3. And 4, actually, if you count Matthew Weeks.
well, we got
massive impact. Hunter Smith, and then he got hit afterwards. I think not that I think it mattered for him, but somebody else is probably got to be suffering for that. That was huge.
That was head-on into the wall. Oh.
So that's contact with Tyler Fody.
Oh, he's going to come back up the track.
He's got to come back up the hill.
Chris Wright almost got taken out.
Thank goodness for the safer barrier. And then right here, so Ethan Stanley. Okay, it looked a lot worse on my end. It was a little bit more of a glancing blow for Ethan, but it probably still killed the toe link if I had to guess. I do see him with a meatball on my end. So once again, he finds himself forced to go to pit road with an issue on the right front. Well, it's such a frustrating evening for Ethan Stanley. We're gonna go on board, and this is gonna hurt. I don't care if it is. I don't care if the cars are fake and it doesn't actually hurt. It still hurts when you hit that hard.
Yeah. Especially if you just simply don't know it's coming.
I could tell I have been different than this, but there's been a time where I got hooked at Talladega and I never saw the car that hit me, and so it literally the car was just turning. It was just a loud noise, and then the car turned right, and it legitimately scared the crap out of me. This one, unfortunately, I think he knew all along. He could see Fody in the mirror. He knew what was happening as it happened. And right about here, he's really, really mad, and he hasn't even hit anything yet. And he's only got to get more mad right about here.
I'd love to see that from one of the other cars on board. I just want to know what they were thinking. Any
Right.
car that passed them.
I can tell you, before the wreck had even stopped, there were a lot of people just stunned at how dramatic that car went up the hill. That's such a huge impact there. We're gonna get on board here with Gerald Campbell into 31. You're gonna see right there. You see him out the left-hand side, and then checking up, and off he goes.
What goes through your mind when you see another player like that have an impact like that? I mean, yes, it's virtual racing, but you never want to see another competitor
How much of a
potentially taken out like that.
My question is, how much of a jolt is that through your hands? And depending on how much your force feedback is, of course, but is that a pretty good jolt?
Depending on your setup, like for me, admittedly, I have a pretty budget setup, just your standard G29 or whatever that you could buy for about $200. Wouldn't be a huge deal. If you have one of these direct drive wheels with a lot of feedback, or a lot of reaction in it, you can hurt yourself. And I know that sounds stupid because it's a video game, but I mean, I've had, one of my teammates has one of those direct drive setups, and I remember we had a race back when Elite had the Formula One series. He was involved in it, and he sprained his wrist from the accident, and that's not a joke. So, depending on your settings, something like that, you can do some damage if you have a really aggressive force feedback with a direct drive. That's not the case for most people because obviously that's on the higher end of they're becoming more affordable, especially in the past year or two, and more commonly produced, but definitely on the higher end of the budget range. Most of the guys here probably don't have to worry about that, but it's possible.
All right, we'll wait for the restart. You're watching R.C. Anderson lead the Japan 200.
I'll go ahead and do some quick reads here. Join APS. APS offers a complete solution for all types of businesses that need to process credit card related transactions. Their industry specific solutions provide the best options for your business model. They have experienced client service representatives who understand what your processing needs are. Our premier sponsors, TA Services. For over 36 years, TA Services has been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics services to shippers around the globe. TA Services moves what matters to you. Let the TA Services make ship happen for you. Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. We help businesses punch above their weight class. Small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. And finally, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, close to the Gateway Arch. Features a 1.25-mile oval that hosts NASCAR Cup and Truck Series and an open wheel series that we're not allowed to mention by name. They also have a 2-mile infield road course used by Speed Tour Trans Am, SCCA, and Porsche Club of America. On site, they have a quarter-mile drag strip and a kartplex. Did I get time?
Yeah, you did. That was perfect. R.C. Anderson back on the loud pedal. We're back to green flag racing. He leads his teammate into turn 1. I have to imagine things are pretty nicely now between
Ooh.
Ethan Burrell and R.C. Anderson. I wonder if that will be the case, say, with 30 or less laps to go.
I guarantee you they're tickled pink right now because they're looking in their mirror and they're seeing 2 wide, they're seeing 3 wide. They're very okay with being up here away from that.
See if we can get some green flag racing. We're about 7 laps from halfway. Are we going to award any stage points at halfway tonight?
I think there's a playoff point at halfway.
Oh, playoff.
No stage.
Looks like R.C. Anderson will have that in the bag. He started on the pole here tonight and has by far led the most laps.
Looking at a battle for 6 here with Scott Crump and Justin Vandermarl. Crump on the inside, Vandermarl on the outside in the yellow and black 21.
Oh,
Contact.
Crump really drove it in there and had some contact with
Andrew
the
Rucker's going to get
21.
involved here into 64.
Now, here's my question. 2 guys are battling. Who do you go with if you're Andrew Rucker?
That depends on a lot of factors. Here,
Look.
personally, I want to be on the bottom. I want to be as close to the white line at all times as possible. So I'm probably following Crump there. But, you know, sometimes you make a choice based on which guy you think a guy is definitely faster than the other guy, so you'll follow them even if you take the line you don't want to be in. Sometimes it's as simple as, I don't like this guy, I'm going to push the other guy by him, you know. But in that case, I think it was a pretty easy choice. You hope to stick your foot in the door once Crump opens it. Rucker wasn't able to that time, but that's what you're hoping for.
R.C. Anderson did get that playoff point. By the way, we are past halfway here tonight. Still outside of that final fuel window, so these guys will have to make at least one more green flag pit stop.
Yeah, I think the next caution might be when we start looking at that a little bit closer. A lot of these guys have only made the one pit stop back at lap 27. Obviously, a lot of yellow flag laps since then, so not a lot of time they've put on these tires to necessitate a pit stop. Pretty much the first guy we see on newer tires than that is Justin Vandermarl. He pitted at lap 38. Most of the guys behind him, if he pitted either at 38 or at 44. One of these cautions in the past few laps, let's see, Fody and Campbell pitted at lap 53. But like I said, there just really hasn't been a lot of green flag racing here for those tires for us to really find out, frankly, if they matter. Right here we see Trey Holmes and Chris Wright. That's a battle for 13th as Trey Holmes takes the spot. I think this is more what we were expecting to see tonight. You know, this track is so wide. Once the guys get spread out, this is when we were probably expecting a little bit more green flag racing, a little more feeling stuff out, seeing how guys settle in, how much the tires matter. We needed a few green flag laps to get that space, but now that we've got it, I wouldn't be surprised if we put together a nice long green flag run here. Certainly, that's what I'm rooting for.
Pro Edge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know, and theoretically too, Zach, as we wear on here, we get some air pressure in these tires. The car is going to tighten up. You know what I mean? It's only really bad wicked loose for about 4 or 5 laps. And so if you can press past that, you're going to see it starting to tighten up, especially those guys that are trying to go fast early. They're going to burn it right in front of coming off of turn 4. And that's going to just, the nature of the track, tighten the car up here. As that happens, you're going to see things spread out. You're going to see guys off top of one another. You won't see the spinning out stuff because the car won't be hitting the ground when it goes over the bumps. And so I would look for this to be fairly clean affair if we can get to that point, which it appears as though
It might finally happen. What has been our longest green flag run of the night?
You're really good at asking that question. I've really got to start keeping up with it. That's one thing iRacing or even the SDK timing.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't tell you really well.
That's not a thing it tracks. So I'm gonna have to start keeping like a box score or something for when that comes up.
You guys might have a guy in the booth with you that have all of the laps that caution flew written down. The biggest gap between cautions was 16.
Yeah, but can we understand what he's saying? I don't know what happened to you, but if you went to space or what, but we can't understand you, Mark.
So I got enough of that to know he said that the longest green flag run had been 16 laps. So I think we're getting in that neck of the woods now. So
I thought I was listening to Charlie Brown's teacher for a while there. Technical difficulties for Mark Murphy right now.
Keeping an eye on David Tooker there. He's running along in the 5th position. One of the cars that's not locked into the playoffs could do it with a win here tonight. R.C. Anderson also looking to do the same. So far, he has had the best overall car. I just heard, I think somebody...
yeah, Mark is trying to troubleshoot his microphone.
Okay. I'm sorry if you hear that squeaking in the distance. It's my dog.
Can you guys hear me?
You
Yeah,
sound so
we
much
can.
better now, Mark.
What I was trying to say there was, as these runs wear on, a lot of the loose conditions that we're seeing is just low tire pressures, especially this track has 2 tunnels. One, it has multiple tunnels. It's got 2 big ones right as you exit turn 4. And then there's one where the road course goes under in turn 1. And that's where we're seeing guys get loose as they go over those tunnels. It's almost like there's a trough or a ditch in the track. And so you have low tire pressures and you go over those bumps, it'll unload the car and spin it out. Now that we've got 20 laps or so on the tires, up to pressure, cars off the ground, we're not seeing guys get loose. You're also going to see, the fast guys try to go too fast too early. Their cars are really going to start tightening up here because they're not going to have a right front left on it. You can either burn a right front or you can burn a right rear. Or you can go really slow and not burn anything. But those are the 2 ways that you make time here. And so as those things happen, you're going to see the cars handling characteristics change. Not to mention you're going to see the guys spread out a little bit. It's more of they come off one at a time. Got a nice battle in here from 20th to 25th to 26th. Everybody else seems to have some good spacing. I apologize that I went to space.
I heard somebody in the driver chat
apologized.
they asked if you got a CB.
I have
Well, you know,
never
it is-
apologized for going to space, for what it's worth.
It is Smokey and the Bandit Day, fellas.
It is.
Just so you're aware. That's my favorite. That is my favorite Facebook status of the year. Is the
What?
the 5 pictures, right? Hey, Smokey, you know what day it is?
Oh. I saw that from Mean Girls yesterday. You know, that quote. On October 3rd, he asked me what day it was. It's October 3rd.
I guess my question is, what is Mean Girls?
You don't know Mean Girls?
I only know it from my daughters. I've never seen it.
God. Oh my god. Sometimes I forget I'm with a bunch of straight men. I can't believe that.
Was Lindsay Lohan in that one?
Yes, she was.
Okay. Well, I've never seen it. I just remember that she was in it. I don't know.
Hey, look, race cars.
Race car!
They're not wrecking. They're not
to
wrecking
be
right now.
off
Maybe
topic.
they should start wrecking. I don't know.
Anything to get me out of a discussion about Lindsay Lohan. Let's do it.
Guys, we have the driver of the 2 cars in the waiting room, but I'm not sure about this one. What do you think?
You're the boss, Dave. You tell me.
Why not? Bring old Robert Hill in here.
Okay.
I'm going to remain silent.
All right, Robert, it's Alex up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Alex.
All right, Robert, my main man. It's nice to have you back. What was it like driving out there?
Yeah, it was all right until the 15 decided that he was just going to dive it under us, and he ended up hooking himself off my nose, and then of course he goes on his little rant of blaming everyone else but himself. And he's the league owner. He's supposed to put out a good example, and he goes out here and he's been in 5 wrecks already just because he doesn't necessarily know what he's doing at all times. He has to be overly aggressive. Like, he's running 25th or whatever at this point. He just keeps diving it in there. He almost knocked Wadsworth out of the way. He's done it to Dewar here. I mean, Dewar's blinking like a madman right now, but Chad's so aggressive. He's got to calm down and figure out what the heck he's doing.
I must admit, I did not see that wreck. But it sounds like it was eventful. Before then, though, how was the racing and the racetrack in virtual Japan?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting track because one half of it drives a certain way and then the other half drives completely opposite. So you have to kind of adjust your driving style based off of each and every corner. Turn number 1 and 2, you could dive it in a little bit deeper and work your way forward as long as you don't have someone diving under you. And then turns 3 and 4, you got to really back it up and try to nail the corner. So it's definitely an interesting one. It's an okay race. I mean, lots of wrecks so far, but most of them are from the 15 car.
I have a feeling you and him will be chatting later.
We'll see. We'll see. There's.
Okay, well, thanks for stopping by.
Whatever.
I got my finger on the dump button. Any topic but that.
Oh, okay, yeah. No talking bad about Chad. Got it.
Well, we do it. We do it enough.
I did not know that that's what I would be getting into.
I had a feeling.
Oh.
Unfortunately. Oh well. Back to racing.
Well, dare I say it, this has been the longest green flag stretch of the night. R.C. Anderson leads his teammate Ethan Barrell with by about half a second, it looks like.
Ray Holmes moving into the top 10 there.
righty.
Battle for 8 shaping up with Justin Vandermarl and Andrew Rucker.
I must say, we should go back to talking about Lindsay Lohan after that. But
No, I'm still fine with not.
Andrew Rucker. Oh, really loose right there.
This is my
Meanwhile,
last night. I've enjoyed it.
You know, I'm going to say this. I know we haven't talked, for leading the race, we haven't talked a lot about RC. This has been very much kind of like what we saw at Bristol. Tire management just kind of slowly easing away. Ethan Burrell's catching him a little bit, but those two have been class of the field.
Now, we have a caution.
Caution. Why?
I say it. That's exactly why I shouldn't say it. That it was our longest green flag run, but this will put us in our final fuel window. Let's take a look and see what happened here.
Looks like it steps out on
85.
Yep, Kynan Jones got loose and then hooks into the wall. There, yep, that's a lot of damage on the right front, and that's a blown engine. There's the smoke, so none of that's good news for Kynan.
And he disconnects.
Yeah, I imagine he got to pit road. Or okay, yeah, he tows. I was about to say I still see him in the lobby. I have a feeling once the tow is over and he sees the amount of time it will take for a repair, a disconnect may not be. It may be in short order after that. We'll see. We'll see what the timer says for him, but I think that might be the end of the night for Kynan, unfortunately.
Oh.
All right, we'll be right back after.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Yeah, I mean, again.
All right, R.C. Anderson and Ethan Burrell lead them back down. You can hear my dog going crazy. He knows there are less than 50 laps here at the Twin Race Multega.
Yeah, this is where everybody's got to start showing their hands a little bit more. I think we're in that fuel window. We just had the big old drivers meeting, metaphorically speaking, on pit road. Everybody came to pit road. We're gonna find out what everybody's dealing with here as we get ready for these final 30-some laps.
One car riding the fence in turn 2 didn't see who that was.
And that is possible up there, Alex. You're not going to make any time up there. It is possible to it is possible to get up there. I kind of said it earlier. My experience here is mostly go cars, but in my experience, there's not a lot of grip up there. But I mean, if you want to ride the Harry Gant line, by all means.
Contact car around.
Car almost
he saved
around. He did save it. What happened there?
Hard to tell. It looked like it was Justin Vandermarl that got out of shape as we see another car go way up the hill there in turn 3. I believe that might have been Ryan Schold.
Oh,
It is also very easy
saw
to do.
some blinking there.
And it's Seth Rawls. He's been given a couple of ULs tonight for blinking, and poor Seth, he's got a router issue. I think he said this is his last race before he gets a new one. And I surely hope so, because he's such a nice guy and doesn't deserve to be getting penalized all the time.
At the same time, though, yeah.
I mean, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it, but it doesn't feel bad for the guy because it's a technology thing. It's not a talent thing.
It's not his fault. Yeah. Four laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. We are cutting it down. Oh, got a car almost in the wall there.
See Robert Hill on the apron there, limping around, trying to get some points here at the end of the race. I'm seeing him scored 43 laps down in the 38th position. And, oh, that was weird. His name briefly grayed out on my screen, but then went back to blue.
Huh. David Tooker has now taken over the second place spot and is giving good chase to R.C. Anderson. He's only behind him by about 2 car lengths.
So for Robert, just to touch on that, it does look like within a few laps he'd be able to at least get one more spot off of Hunter Smith, and then after that would depend, frankly, on if he'd have a tough choice at that point if he wants to try and stay out track and get around Kynan Jones. Obviously, if Kynan's able to get back on track, that goes away. I think it would be a tight squeeze without green-white checkered because obviously Robert's not going to be the same pace as Lear. He's probably got to lose laps trying to stay out that long. So I don't know if that's a realistic goal, but it's certainly a possibility. But right now, hopefully his focus is just getting that 37th spot from Hunter Smith.
I miss this, by the way. I miss guys.
Oh, 100%.
I absolutely think that is one of the 5-minute damage clock or whatever is absolutely the worst rule the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing has ever come up with.
I get why, though, because if you're out, you're out. You don't, I mean, look what happened to Dell Jr. that one time and Carl Edwards, I think it was 2016 at Talladega. Something broke on Edwards' car. It almost shattered, or it destroyed Amelia, which was Earnhardt's favorite car.
No, but
just
I'll
because
go,
it broke.
I'll reach back. I'll reach back a lot further into damaged vehicles. So, one of my favorite stories of this type of thing. It wasn't a wreck. At the one of the Dover races in 1990, Dale Earnhardt Sr. broke a camshaft.
Oh,
Right, so
okay.
blew the motor in the 3-car, and Richard Childress' crew hauled it behind the wall, pulled the engine, and rebuilt it during the race.
Mm.
Now, it had been up until the early 80s, in mid 80s even, that you could change an engine during the race. They finally forbade that in the mid 80s. They pulled it and rebuilt it. Dale Sr. went back out for another 100 or so laps, picked up, 4 or 5 spots or whatever it was. That was the margin in the championship that year.
Oh, wow.
Beat Mark Martin by like 3 points or something like that.
I would like a change of conversation as a Mark Martin fan. There's another factor in that championship everybody loves to.
Well, no, I'm not going to ignore it. The second race at Richmond where Martin was fine. It was a then record, I believe, $50,000, and his team docked 46, as they used to say, valuable Winston Cup points, and so how valuable they were, because there was an illegal carburetor spacer in the motor.
But oh, by the way, when they went to Charlotte for the fall race, it was totally okay when Earnhardt literally lost the tires on his car and was just stuck on the apron with a horseless carriage for the Richard Childress boys to go out there and strap 4 new shoes on the tires so they could get back to pit road. That was fine.
That was one of the most ridiculous
I
things
wasn't
I've ever seen in a motor race.
a NASCAR fan then, so I cannot add.
So, essentially, the fall race at Charlotte, one of the pit stops, Alex, I want to say it was the left rear.
Yeah, that might be right. I think it
was left rear.
It was definitely a left side tire because it was one of those miscommunication deals where Dale thought it was a 2-tire stop and it was not. So they had started. It was either the left front or the left rear that had been loosened before he exited the pits.
Anyway, so Alex, Dale Sr. They drop the jack. He leaves. The lefts come off the car, and he's sitting in the apron down between 1 and 2. He hasn't left the apron. He kind of does his lazy spin. And so normally, it was under caution anyway, if I recall.
It was.
They allowed, instead of putting the car on the wrecker and bringing it back, they allowed the crew to take tires and a jack, air guns.
Oh, wow. That is so pitting outside the box, right?
Out to that. Well, they did give him whatever the penalty for pitting outside your box was, which was an end of the longest line thing. He lost 2 laps, but it would have been, I don't know, 5 or 6 had they put it back on put it on the hook. That was, if I remember right, they might have even wanted to load it on a flatbed, not even the hook.
I believe that was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they let him go down and put tires on the thing while it was sitting in the apron, and that was a Travis there because it was pitting out of the box, too many men over the wall, and honestly, seeing Chocolate Myers run down pit road is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen.
Anyways, that's enough kvetching from the scarred for life Mark Martin fan. Next week we can talk about the 2007 Daytona 500.
Sorry about that. But that was one race.
6 inches, he would have. A little bit for 6 inches, he would have traded his kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Mark, I will give you one more bit. Can I give you one more bit of trivia about that 1990 season that many people don't know?
Sure.
So there were 2 other bits about that season that were crazy. One is that Derek Cope won not 1 but 2 races.
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah.
The Daytona 500
and Dover, right?
Yeah, the Dover race he was dominant though. It wasn't backed into like Daytona was. The other one is that the last race at Atlanta, Mark Martin actually drove. And here's some names. Here are some names for you. He drove a big, older, prepared A.B. Allison number 28 that they repainted, that Jack Roush borrowed from that race.
Mm.
That was Davey Allison, supposed to be Davey Allison's car. Ford Motor Company brokered the deal. Had the full car motor and all sent from Yates to Roush. And they repainted it. And they gave it back after the race was over. You won't hear the name Jake Elder too many times the rest of your life. That is what.
Mark, they were paging you to the race control booth for the 25 car.
Guys, we missed it by 4 laps. The lap counter has ticked down. Who are we thinking is gonna win this thing besides the obvious R.C. Anderson? Well, let's not all go at once.
I was about to say,
I don't know.
Can't pick RC. I guess give me Tooker. I don't know, man.
Yeah, when it's 5 pro edges, they gotta be communicating amongst themselves who
Right.
they want in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Probably they would want Tooker to get up there. I don't remember where Ethan and Weeks are in the points. Look real quick.
They're locked in.
They're locked in.
They're locked in, so yeah. 8's not doesn't have a chance, so yeah. I'd take Tooker. Took her on team orders is what I'm saying.
Tooker, has our not sympathetic of vote, but the best of vote in order to get the win here tonight if it weren't for R.C. Anderson. But you're right, Pro Edge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're having a stellar night. Last time there was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finishing position, I believe, with Roush Racing in 2005.
Let's give a call here. Grant, he's in a side-by-side battle with Jonathan Cutlip here, and I on the outside probably got to lose that spot and fall to 12th. But considering the first half of this race and how it went for Johnny Thomas, to scratch and claw and keep digging and have himself in position just outside the top 10 right now, kudos to him.
Yeah.
He's been having a lot of good, solid runs lately. Rucker was kind of smoking there coming out of that corner.
Yeah, I guess it stepped out on him on quarter exit there. Kind of a little bit of a pucker moment.
I hate to ask this, but the good commentator in me always has to ask, are we done seeing the yellow flag here tonight?
Well, I'd like to say we are. Everybody's pretty spread out at this point, but we do see this battle here for 5th with Tyler Fody and Tate Lytle. Fody in the 40, Tate Lytle in the 56. So we'll see if anything. I mean, hopefully nothing transpires there, but that's probably our best shot at the moment. Outside of somebody just getting loose out of turn 4. Like Mark mentioned earlier, once the tires come to temp, these guys are getting pretty chippy, though. I don't know. And Fody's always a guy is going to race you really, really hard. Tate can get up on the wheel, too. So, we'll see. Hopefully they keep it clean here over these final 15 laps. But they're also both got to be looking in the mirror and seeing Scott Crump as well. So
yeah, it kind of feels like to me that whatever Tate decides to do, Crump could have a play in it. You bump Fody, you may have Scott coming right up behind.
Oh, definitely. You got the Lake Norman cars of Tyler Fody and Scott Crump and the Pro Edge car there of Tate Lytle. certainly the team dynamic could come into play in this battle.
"14 laps to go."
Hearing a lot of guys starting to complain about the car getting loose. If I had to venture a guess, and it is only get that a guess, I imagine as we've gotten longer into this run, some of these guys probably went really hard on that restart, maybe used up the right rear a little bit. Now, because of that, it's getting a little, especially out of turn 4, probably getting a little upset with them.
Matthew Weeks now looking underneath his teammate. That's a battle for 4th place. David Tucker might have worn the good off the Goodyear. Tate Lytle is doing all he can to keep it a Pro Edge affair in the top 5.
Laps to go as we continue to watch this battle for 5th. And you can see the cars really these two guys really dancing off of turn 2. Tate's trying to get the run on the inside, but with Fody being able to hang on the outside, it means he can't track all the way up to the wall. You really see the car dance and get a little skittish, a little light on corner exit because he's trying to keep it pinched down and off of Fody. Definitely just some really on the edge moments from two guys battling for a top 5 right now.
Easily closest battle on the track right now to watch.
And now here comes Scott Crump. He's got to stick his nose in, gets a run there, pulls to the inside of Tate Lytle, and now Tate's on the outside trying to hold off Scott Crump. And it gets really loose there.
Oh yeah, he did. He's gonna allow the 90th Scott Crump to get back by him.
So now Fody up to 5th, Crump to 6th.
Dog, I'm sorry if you can hear.
Just barely, not as much as usual.
He's unusually crying. Let me see what he's doing. I will be right back. I'm sorry, guys.
Problem.
Looking at the battle for 3rd, Matthew Weeks in the 11, David Tucker in the 19. Again, part of that Pro Edge 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment as we get down to the final laps of the Japan 200. R.C. Enerson 1.2 seconds ahead up the road of Ethan Burrell. Enjoying that cushion. This is why you absolutely love to see in the mirror late in a race if you're RC. Not
No
that
pressure.
I know from a ton of experience, but every once in a while in a 3rd split, late model race or whatever, I've been able to enjoy this. A couple of times in 2nd split Silver Crown races.
Woo! We're getting down to the last 7 laps to go here. We might be done with the yellow flag, hopefully.
Yeah, you're really starting to see as we get late in the race, these cars really getting skatey on corner exit. They've wrestled every ounce of good out of those tires at this point, and trying to just make it to the finish for a lot of these guys. But I mean, you can't just coast. You know, you're in these battle for these valuable positions near the front of the field. Got the playoffs wrapping up, so they've got to make it work.
Smoke from something.
5 to go here. I did see that smoke. Oh, hopefully people can gather it up.
Weeks looks like he's going to get up to second.
RC Anderson's lead up to nearly 2 seconds here. It'll be 3 to go next time at the line. From this angle, you might even be able to see those tunnels Mark was talking about. Right there's one of them. And then going into turn 3, you'll be able to see the other one a little bit better with the blue and white signage on it to the inside of the inside retaining wall. And as he mentioned, that's where, right? Yeah, not as well as I thought you could actually. You can kind of see the stone facing there a little bit, but twin ring Motegi, one ring of course being the oval, the other ring the road course, and completely separate, not like the quote-unquote roval setup you see at Charlotte or Daytona or whatever. Completely separate layout that happens to use those tunnels to go in and out of the inside and outside the oval.
Ooh, it looked like they both got a piece of the wall there. But guys, no change for overtime. They are gonna finish the race on this, the final white flag. 1 lap to go here.
1 lap for RC Anderson. We saw him win earlier this season at Darlington in the Southern 500. And, oh, we've got trouble on the front stretch. Obviously, RC is still in good shape, but Ryan Scholl is turned around on the front stretch. He's going to get across the start-finish line, so that shouldn't be an issue for the guys racing back to the line.
We take a look at this battle. RC Anderson, he started first, and it looks like he is gonna finish that way. RC Anderson, winner of the Japan 200 at Twin Ring Motegi. Just a stellar car and a stellar performance. No one had anything for him all night.
Yeah, definitely a dominating performance from RC tonight. Lots of laps led. Fastest lap of the race, and most importantly, checkered flag. I don't know if we'll get a chance to look at that incident with Ryan Scholl at the end of it before we start getting some interviews in. RC's starting the celebratory donuts here by the start-finish line.
There's our results for tonight. RC Anderson, of course, is our winner. Matthew Weeks, David Tooker, Ethan Burrell, Tyler Fody round out the top 5. Scott Crump, Tate Lytle, Gerald Campbell, Jonathan Cutlip, and Trey Holmes, the next 5. Johnny Thomas, Andrew Rucker, Nick Indelicato, Braxton Deweese, Joshua Clark through 15. Chris Wright, Jesse Racimus, Michael Hossack. We gotta advance it here.
The Pro Edge Racing got a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish.
19th, Dustin Dewar, Justin Wadsworth, Seth Rawls, Justin Vandermerle, Michael Goodman, Brent Jones, Richard Hines, Chad Frankenfield, Mark Rebelis, Justin Fortner, Ryan Scholl, Kyle Hanshaw, Ryan Gavel, Jordan Owens, Casey Hatch, Rory Collins, Ethan Stanley, Kynan Jones, Robert Hill and Hunter Smith, Harrison Talon, Dylan Thomas, Joshua Personette, and that's the field.
All right, let's see. We can get some of our podium finishers in the chat, beginning with David Tooker. All right, Tooker, my main man. How's it going?
Going great. I just finished P3. You know, I can't ask for much better than that. But you know, I wish I could have got 2 spots more, but it's all right.
Well, how was your race here tonight? It seemed kind of slow going at first, but as far as the cautions, did that help or hinder you?
You know, it was kind of a mixture of things. You know, I felt like on that long run, I definitely felt like I was the faster car right before that last caution came out, but just there wasn't really a lot of tire fall off that entire race, really. I mean, there was tire fall off as far as percentage, but as far as lap time, it felt the same all the way through. So it was just kind of where you started in that run, and if you made a simple mistake, you know, guys were going to pounce on that, and I had a full-on example of that. I was P2 and flipped up just the slightest bit, and Ethan was just able to get to me, and I knew it wasn't really much I could do there. I just had to hold on, and hopefully I can battle for third. But you know, it was kind of a slow pace run. Kind of just spread out, really. This track's a really long lap. It doesn't feel like much, only being 37 seconds, but it was a pretty long lap. And you know, that caution, actually, that last caution did fall for us perfectly. We were actually going to be short on fuel about 15 laps, so that if we didn't have that last caution there, who knows who would have won this race.
Alrighty, well, do either you guys have any more questions? Zach or Dave? I don't think so. Alright, well, David, want to give you the chance to shout out anyone and anything you'd like.
Yeah, everybody at this Pro Edge racing team. I mean, dude, we came out of the gate swinging tonight. I mean, we had at least all 5 cars, or all 6 cars actually in the top 6. We were leading the race, which, I mean, that puts a statement on how hard these guys work and how serious we take this. We try to just, you know, come out with races like this all the time. You know, obviously you can't get them all the time, but you're gonna take them where you can get them. And we had a really fast team tonight. Everybody was on point. I felt like all 6 of us were even at one point. It was just a matter of who made less mistakes right at the end. And congrats to RC on his win. That's awesome for him. He's looking to advance in the playoffs as well. So I think that locks him in. And just another solid points day for us and Weeks. You know, we've been needing the points up in the Cup Series, at least me. So glad to walk away with some good points here, but also want to give a huge shout out to everybody at Elite Racing League for everything they do, all of our sponsors. They do a good thing for us here and spend their time and their money trying to get ourselves on the broadcast and doing everything that they do for us. So huge shout out to our sponsors and also you guys up in the booth. Really appreciate it.
All right, Tooker, it's always good talking to you, man. Hopefully we'll talk to you more. All right, see ya. All right, let's see. We can get Matthew Weeks up in here. Matthew, you got a copy?
Yeah, man. You good?
Yeah, I gotcha. Not as good as you coming off a runner-up finish what do you think you needed to get the win here tonight? You were just, by our calculations, just shy of 2 seconds behind our RC.
Probably more laps. Maybe I don't know. RC was really strong on the long run. I know it was hard. I was battling Tucker and Ethan coming, catching back up to him. So I lost a little time there too. So I don't know. Maybe probably 15 more laps. I felt really good once the laps started. We got longer on the tires. I felt really good. So
Yeah, we were talking about how the beginning of the race really didn't mirror the end of the race. There were a lot of cautions in the beginning. Did that help or hinder you in your progress? So,
I think it probably hurt a little bit at the beginning because I need those laps to make position. But once we got situated and then we had that long run, I think we was kind of screwed because I was going to have to pit and a lot of guys could make it on fuel to the end. So I'm glad that caution did come out on 92 because that saved us. But the ones beforehand, we needed laps, man. I need green flag laps to be able to do anything.
all right, well, you bring home. You're part of a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish. Want to give you the chance to shout out anyone and anything you'd like as tonight's runner-up.
That's all the Pro Edge guys, man. We showed up and we were fast. Sucks for Clark. He got in some stuff, so he had to rebound, but a good rebound on him. But man, we showed up. We had good speed. Congrats RC on another win, man. He's just so good, man. He's getting better every time we race, and good stuff. Took her on the battle, and everyone else, you guys in the booth, Chad. Yeah, everyone, and all our sponsors, 213simware.com, check it out. All kinds of gear for me, I got to get my championship shirt up there eventually. I need to do that. And then, JV Designs, JD Designs, all the guys that make all these schemes that look really good, and everyone else, man, and all the sponsors for Elite.
All righty, man. Well, congratulations. It's always good talking to you.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we'll get a win this season. It's coming, dude. It's coming.
I have a feeling, no doubt.
Playoff start, we turn it up a notch, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. Y'all have.
All right, that was your defending series champion on his runner-up finish, and now we have the winner of tonight's Japan 200 RC. It's Alex up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Man, you were on fire tonight. I don't even know where to begin. You had the pole, you led the most laps. If it could have been done, you did it. Walk us through your night and getting to victory lane.
Well, I think our entire team was really the help on that. I mean, all of us were fast. I mean, we're screwing around with the brake bias stuff because the setup was just kind of backwards. Like you have a combination of understeer and oversteer everywhere. It's kind of crazy. Like you don't just have one thing going on. So we just were we spent the entire practice trying to figure things out with the brakes and the steering ratios, see what's going to work, and we ended up being really quick. I mean, we were 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. So it's that's impressive. I wish Tate could have got up there and been with us. Same with
he was
others, but
to keep it a royal flush. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for you guys. We were keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, we tried our best, but no, we had a great run tonight. I think all of us were kind of at the same pace. I think I just had the benefit of running in clean air most of the time, so I don't think I burned off as much tire as these guys. Weeks, Tucker and Ethan. I think that just running in the dirty air behind me was really what. As long as I was able to hold them off for the first 20 laps or so, and then I could just kind of cruise.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I go to Bristol, a track I hate, and I do really, really well. Don't get to come away with the win. And I go to Motegi, another track I don't like at all. and we end up doing really, really well. So at least we were able to come away with the win. I don't know. Maybe I'm just figuring out this next gen car. It's just kind of coming more to my liking.
Well,
it's an insanely difficult car to drive, but
you don't have to worry about Daytona next week. I think this puts you into the playoffs. Are you thinking about that?
So I believe I'm in the playoffs, but I don't have enough starts.
Oh, okay.
So I need to make sure I have 9 starts. So I need to start Daytona. Problem is, I'm going to Ethan Burrell's wedding. I got to fly all the way to Portland from Florida. But I don't fly out until 7 p.m. Portland time. So the race is at 4:30, and he's already on his honeymoon. So I'm going to be using his rig and log into my account, and I'll at least be starting the race. I definitely won't be able to finish it, but at least start it to get my start in.
Yeah.
And make sure I get in the playoffs here.
All right. Well, as tonight's winner, want to give you the time to shout out anyone and anything you'd like. You deserve it.
Oh yeah, Pro Edge Racing, they're awesome. We killed everybody tonight, to be honest, and that's awesome to see all of us do well. You guys up here in the booth, you guys do an awesome job. I'll usually go back and watch these races over again, so it's really cool to listen to the broadcast and kind of see everything from the outside. Chad, who runs the leagues, he's running 7 leagues, or 6, 7 leagues, something like that. That's like a full-time job, and he gives us an area here where we can all come out and have fun in the evenings in a sport we love. So I'll keep doing these for as long as they're still here. And then finally, Lucas Oil School Racing, they're on every single one of my cars this year. And if you ever want to learn how to drive a real race car, check out lucasraceschool.com, see our dates, and come check us out.
All right, that's RC Anderson, his second win of the season. Congratulations, man. You did it virtual Japan.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All righty. Okay, well, next week we have the Behemoth of Daytona. Next week we wrap up the regular season and we see who just might get to lock themselves in for a chance for the playoffs. But from all of us here at ERN, I want to thank Chad and all of our sponsors. And so long. We'll see you guys next week at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for Daytona.